The music was soft and warm. Lights of many colors moved slowly across the walls of the Great Hall. Space Station Harmony was full of life that night. Humans and aliens from 12 different worlds had come together for the Festival of Unity. It was a celebration of 50 years of peace. Kang Duri stood near the center of the room. He wore his best formal clothes, dark blue with silver buttons. He was 34 years old, with kind eyes and an easy smile. As a diplomatic officer, his job was to make friends, and he was very good at it. "You humans smile too much," said a tall alien with gray skin. His name was hard to say, so Duri just called him Friend. "Is it not tiring?" Duri laughed. "We smile because we are happy, and tonight there is much to be happy about." The alien made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Your species is strange, but I like you." Across the station, in the medical area, Yoon Hana was working late. She was 29, a scientist who studied alien bodies. Her younger brother, Yoon Seojin, was helping her. He was only 22, still learning to be a doctor. "You should go to the party," Seojin said. "I can watch the patients." Hana shook her head. "The Velian child needs watching. Her fever is still high." "Always working." Seojin smiled at his sister. "At least take a break. I will call you if anything changes." Hana agreed. She walked to her small room and sat down. Through her window she could see the stars. They were beautiful, peaceful. She closed her eyes for just a moment. That was when everything changed. The first explosion shook the entire station. Duri fell to his knees. Around him, people screamed. The lights went red. Warning sounds filled the air. "What is happening?" someone shouted. Duri looked through the great window. His blood went cold. Ships. Hundreds of ships. They came out of nothing, appearing in the space around the station like ghosts becoming real. He knew those ships. Everyone knew them. The Korath Dominion. A voice came through every speaker on the station. It was deep and cruel. "Humans, you have two choices. Surrender and become our workers, or die. You have 1 minute." Admiral Bak Taiho was on the station that night. He was 45, a military man with gray in his hair and calm in his eyes. He had spent his life believing in peace. He grabbed a communication device. "This is Admiral Bayek of the United Earth Fleet. We wish to talk. There is no need for violence. Please, let us discuss." The Korath answered with weapons fire. The next 3 hours were the longest in human history. Korath soldiers came onto the station. They did not want to talk. They did not want to negotiate. They killed anyone who stood in their way. Men, women, children. It did not matter to them. Shin Nari was a pilot. She was 26, quick and brave. When the attack started, she ran to her ship. Her whole squadron flew out to fight. There were 12 of them against hundreds. One by one, her friends died. She heard their voices go silent. She saw their ships become fire and metal. In the end, only she remained. Her ship was damaged, barely able to fly. She escaped because the Korath thought she was already dead. In the medical area, Hana tried to reach her brother. The halls were full of smoke and screams. Korath soldiers marched through, shooting anyone they saw. She hid behind broken walls, moving slowly, calling Seojin on her device. Finally, he answered. His face appeared on the small screen. There was blood on his cheek. Behind him, she could see fire. "Hana," he said. His voice was weak. "I could not save them. The children. I tried." "Where are you?" Hana was crying. "Tell me where you are. I will come." "No." He smiled. It was the same smile he had when they were children, when he would give her his food because she was hungry. "Stay hidden. Live. Promise me." Seojin. The screen went dark. When the killing stopped, 17,000 humans were dead. The Great Hall was covered in blood. Duri stood in the middle of it all. His blue clothes were now red. He had tried to help people escape. He had failed most of them. A Korath soldier walked up to him. The alien was tall, covered in hard scales, with eyes like black stones. He looked at Dory with something like curiosity. "You are the ones who smile," the soldier said. "The friendly species, the ones who want to be friends with everyone." He made a laughing sound. "Why are you not smiling now, human?" Dory looked at him. His face was empty. His eyes were different now. Something had changed in them. Something old had woken up. Something that humans had forgotten they had. He did not answer. He just looked. The Korath soldier stopped laughing. For one moment, just one small moment, he felt something strange. It was a feeling his species had not felt in 1,000 years. It was fear. Fear of prey. But that was impossible. Humans were weak. Humans were soft. Humans smiled. He pushed the feeling away and walked on. That night, as the Korath ships flew away with human prisoners, as fires burned on the broken station, as survivors held their dead, something happened across all of human space. It was not a decision made by governments or leaders. It was not spoken aloud. It simply happened in the hearts of billions of people at the same moment. Humanity stopped smiling, and deep in their blood, in the place where memory lives, they remembered what they used to be. Before the cities, before the peace, before the smiles. They remembered a time when humans chased their food across endless lands. They remembered a time when they were not the friendly species. They were the hunters. The galaxy did not know it yet. The Korath did not know it yet. But on that day, in that moment of blood and fire, the universe had made a terrible mistake. It had hurt the children of Earth. It had made them remember, and humans never forget. 3 months passed. Earth went quiet. No messages went out. No trade ships flew. No diplomats answered calls. The planet that once talked to everyone now talked to no one. The galaxy waited and wondered. High Arbiter Veltos sat in his throne room on the Korath homeworld. He was pleased with himself. The attack had gone perfectly. Humans were weak, just as he had said. They had begged for peace while his soldiers killed them. Now they hid on their little blue planet, afraid. "They will come to us soon," he told his advisors. "They will offer anything we want, their resources, their labor, their world. We simply have to wait." But one advisor did not agree. Her name was Mirael. She was old for a Korath, and she had spent her long life studying other species. She had studied humans most of all. "High Arbiter," she said carefully, "I do not think they are hiding because they are afraid." Veltos waved his hand. "Then why?" "They are prey. Prey runs and hides. This is natural." "I have read their history," Mirael said. "They are not prey. They were never prey. They are predators who chose to stop hunting." The room was silent. Then Veltos laughed. "Predators! Those smiling fools! They could not even fight back when we attacked them." "They were surprised," Mirael said. "They thought we were friends. They did not believe anyone would hurt them at a celebration of peace. But now they know. And High Arbiter, I am afraid of what they will do now that they know." Veltos sent her away. He did not want to hear more. On Earth, in a room deep under the ground, Admiral Bak Taiho stood before the United Earth Council. His face was calm, but his eyes were cold. He had not smiled in 3 months. None of them had. "For 50 years," he said, "we have been friends to the galaxy. We have shared our food, our medicine, our knowledge. We have smiled and been kind. And in return, 17,000 of our people were murdered. Children, doctors, families." He touched a screen. Images appeared. Maps of Korath space, lists of their ships, details about their weapons, their food supplies, their fuel sources. "We have been watching them for 50 years, Beck said. "Not because we wanted to hurt them. We watched because we were curious. We wanted to understand them. We wrote down everything." He paused. "Now we will use what we learned." In another room, Yoon Hana was presenting to military leaders. She had not slept much since her brother died. But she was not tired. She was focused. She had work to do. "The galaxy thinks we are weak because we are kind," she said. "They are wrong. They do not understand what humans are." She showed them pictures. Old pictures from Earth's past. Long ago, before we had tools, before we had weapons, we hunted. We were not the fastest animals. We were not the strongest. But we had something no other animal had. She changed the picture. It showed early humans running across a great plain, following a deer. We never stopped. Our prey would run fast and get tired. They needed to rest, but humans kept walking, keep following. Hours would pass, days would pass. The prey would run and rest, and always, when they looked back, humans were still coming, never stopping, never resting, until finally the prey was too tired to run anymore. She looked at the military leaders. "The Korath are fast. They are strong. But they do not know what it means to be hunted by something that never stops. They will learn." Park Jun-ho was the head of human intelligence. He was 52, with a face that showed nothing. Before the attack, he had used his skills to make trade deals and find good partners for humanity. Now he used those same skills for something else. "Our people are already in Korath space," he told the council. "They went as traders, teachers, doctors. They smiled, they made friends. The Korath never thought to watch them. Why would they? We were just the friendly humans." He showed them a map with hundreds of small lights. Each light was a human agent. "We know everything now, their secrets, their weaknesses, the things they fear, the cracks in their empire." His voice was soft. "They think they are safe. They think we are hiding. They are wrong. We are not hiding. We are getting ready." Shin Nari sat alone in a dark room. She was the only survivor of her squadron. 12 friends, all dead. She could still hear their voices going silent one by one. She could still see their ships breaking apart. A door opened. Kang Duri walked in. He sat down across from her. Neither of them spoke for a long time. "I keep thinking I should have died with them," Nari finally said. "I know," Duri said. "I think the same thing. I was in that hall. I watched people die. I could not save them." "How do you keep going?" Duri was quiet for a moment. "Because they need to be remembered. Because what happened to them cannot happen again. Because—" He stopped. When he spoke again, his voice was different, harder. "Because someone has to make the Korath understand what they did." Nari looked at him. She saw the same thing in his eyes that she felt in her heart. It was not anger. Anger burns hot and fast and dies. This was something colder, something that would never stop. "I want to fight," she said. "Good," Duri said. "So do I." A week later, Kang Duri recorded a message. It was sent to every species in the galaxy. His face was calm. His voice was steady. He did not smile. "The Korath Dominion attacked us during a celebration of peace. They killed 17,000 of our people. They took prisoners. They laughed as they did it." He paused. "We asked for help from the Galactic Collective. No one came. We understand. You were afraid. Perhaps you thought if you stayed quiet, the Korath would leave you alone." His eyes seemed to look directly at everyone watching. "We do not need your help. We do not want it anymore. We only want you to know this. We remember now what we are. We remember what our ancestors were. We remember how to hunt." His voice dropped lower. "And we will never forget what the Korath did. Never." The message ended. Across the galaxy, different species watched. Some were confused. Some were worried. On the Korath homeworld, High Arbiter Veltos watched and laughed at the threat. But Mirael did not laugh. She had read human history. She knew what humans did to each other in their great wars. She knew about their nuclear weapons, their gas attacks, their ability to fight until nothing was left. She began to pack her things. She wanted to be far away when the humans came, because she knew they were coming. Not quickly, not with anger, but with something worse, with patience, with planning, with the cold focus of a predator that has marked its prey. The hunt was about to begin. 1 year after the massacre, the galaxy expected war. They expected fire and anger and great battles. They expected humans to attack the Korath homeworld with everything they had. That is what every other species would do. But humans did not do that. Instead, something strange began to happen. Korath supply ships started to disappear. Not the big warships, not the famous fleets, just the small ships that carried food and fuel. One would vanish, then another, then 5 more. There were no battles, no explosions that anyone could see. The ships simply stopped reporting. When search teams went to look, they found nothing. Just empty space where a ship used to be. High Arbiter Velthos called it bad luck, equipment failure. Korath ships were old, he said. These things happen. Then the fuel stations began to blow up. Not all at once. One station would explode on the far edge of Korath space. A week later, another would fail on the other side. The explosions looked like accidents. Old wires, broken systems, nothing connected them. Except they kept happening. Shin Nari led a squadron now. They called themselves the Ghosts. They flew ships painted black with no markings. They moved through Korath space like shadows. They attacked and disappeared before anyone could respond. Target destroyed, one of her pilots reported. No survivors. Good, Nari said. Her voice was flat, empty. Move to next position. We hit the communication tower in 6 hours. Her pilots did not question her. They had all lost someone in the massacre. They all carried the same cold feeling in their hearts. On a space station far from the fighting, an alien named Solvan watched the reports. He was from the Thenos Collective, a neutral group that did not take sides in wars. His job was to observe and write about what he saw. He had asked to visit human space. They let him come. What he found troubled him deeply. Humans worked in silence. In their shipyards, thousands of workers built weapons and ships without speaking. They did not sing. They did not tell jokes. They simply worked, hour after hour, day after day. Do they never rest? Solvan asked his human guide. The guide, a young woman with tired eyes, looked at him. We rest when it is done. When what is done? She did not answer. She just went back to work. Solvan wrote in his report, The humans have become something I have never seen before. They do not celebrate their victories. They do not mourn their losses in public. They simply continue. It is as if they have decided on something and nothing in the universe will stop them. I find this more frightening than any army. 2 years passed. The Korath began to feel the pressure. Their ships could not get fuel easily. Their soldiers could not get food on time. Messages between their worlds were delayed because communication towers kept breaking. Finally, High Arbiter Velthos understood. This was not bad luck. This was not accidents. This was war. A war unlike any the galaxy had seen. He sent a message to humanity. We wish to discuss peace. Admiral Bayek Taiho received the message. He read it carefully. Then he recorded his response. You killed our children, he said. His face showed nothing. There is nothing to discuss. Velthos tried again. Name your price, resources, territory. We will pay. The response was silence. On a small Korath world near the edge of their space, a military commander named Torvak waited for an attack that never seemed to come. Every night he looked at the stars and wondered if human ships were out there, watching. His soldiers could not sleep. Every sound made them jump. Every shadow seemed to hide death. They had not seen a single human ship in months, but the fear was always there. When will they attack? a young soldier asked. I do not know, Torvak admitted. This waiting is worse than fighting. Torvak understood. That was the point. The humans knew exactly what they were doing. They were not trying to destroy the Korath quickly. They were making them afraid, making them tired, making them doubt everything. It was working. Kang Duri traveled now. He visited the worlds that had done nothing when humanity was attacked. He did not threaten them. He did not ask for help. He simply talked to their leaders, one by one. We are not angry at you, he would say. We understand why you did not help us. You were afraid. The Korath are powerful. He would pause. But ask yourself this. If the Korath lose, who will protect you from us? One by one, species that had supported the Korath began to step back. Trade agreements ended. Military partnerships fell apart. The Korath found themselves more alone every day. Mirael, the Korath historian, escaped to the Thanos Collective. She brought with her every document she could carry about human history. She asked to speak to their leaders. You must understand what is happening, she said. The humans are not fighting a war. They are hunting. This is how they hunted on their world millions of years ago. They do not try to catch their prey quickly. They follow. They wait. They let their prey become tired and afraid. Then, when the prey cannot run anymore, they finish it. The Thanos leaders listened carefully. How long can this take? One asked. Miriel's voice was heavy. In their history, they once fought a war that lasted 100 years. Another lasted 30 years. Time means nothing to them. They will keep going until it is over. However long that takes. And if the Korath surrender? I do not think the humans will accept surrender, Miriel said. Not from the leaders who ordered the attack. Perhaps not from anyone. They are not interested in winning. They are interested in making sure this never happens again. To anyone. The Thanos were quiet for a long time. Finally, one of them spoke. So the smiling species were never really smiling at all. Miriel thought about the humans she had met before the war. Their kind faces, their warm laughter, their endless patience. No, she said. They were smiling. They truly were kind. That is what makes this so terrible. They chose to be kind, and we taught them that kindness was weakness. Now they have chosen something else. She looked out the window at the stars. And we will all have to live with what they have become. 3 years after the massacre, the Korath Dominion was breaking. Not from one great battle, but from 1,000 small cuts. Their economy was failing. Their people were hungry. Their soldiers were tired and afraid. The galaxy watched. Every species, from the smallest to the most powerful, could not look away. They had never seen anything like this. A major empire was being taken apart piece by piece, and the species doing it had never formally declared war. Solvan of the Thanos Collective was asked to make a broadcast. He had spent 3 years watching the humans. Now the galaxy wanted to know what he had learned. I came to study humans because I wanted to understand them, he began. I thought I would find angry soldiers wanting revenge. I thought I would see hatred and cruelty. What I found was far more frightening. He showed images. Human soldiers helping wounded Korath prisoners. Human doctors treating Korath sick. Human ships letting civilian Korath transports pass without harm. They do not torture, Solvan said. They do not humiliate. When they capture Korath soldiers, they feed them, heal them, and release them. Every time they send the same message. Tell your leaders we could have chosen differently. He paused. Do you understand how terrible this is? They could be cruel. They have every reason to be cruel, but they choose not to be. They are showing the Korath, showing all of us, that they are in complete control. Their anger is cold. Their vengeance is patient. They are not monsters. They are something worse. They are predators who feel no need to prove their strength. The broadcast was watched by billions. Many could not sleep that night. On the Korath homeworld, people were starving. The human embargoes had cut off food from other worlds. Ships could not get fuel to deliver supplies. High Arbiter Velthos had spent the treasury on weapons, but weapons cannot feed children. "This is not war," one of his advisors said. "This is slow death. They are killing us without firing a shot." "Then we must make them fire," Velthos said. His eyes were wild now, desperate. "We must make them angry, make them attack. Then the galaxy will see them as the aggressors." He ordered his best assassins to kill Kang Duri. Duri had agreed to meet with Korath diplomats on a neutral station. It was supposed to be a peace talk. He knew it might be a trap. He went anyway. The assassins attacked during the meeting. They were fast and well-trained. They killed 2 of Duri's guards. A poison blade cut his arm. But they had not expected what happened next. Duri did not run. He did not call for help. He moved like something old had taken control of his body, something from before humans built cities, something from when his ancestors hunted in the dark. When it was over, 4 assassins were dead. The 5th was held against a wall by Duri's hand around his throat. Blood ran down Duri's arm from his wound. His face was calm. "We came to talk," he said quietly. "You chose violence. Again." The assassin made a choking sound. "You will never win. The High Arbiter will never surrender." "I know," Duri said. "We are not asking him to." He let the assassin go. The Korath fell to the floor, gasping. "Go back to your master," Duri said. "Tell him what happened here. Tell him we could have killed you all quietly. Tell him we let you live because we want him to know. There is nowhere he can hide, nothing he can do. We will keep coming until it is finished." After the assassination attempt, humanity increased its pressure. More supply lines were cut, more fuel stations destroyed, more Korath worlds went dark as power systems failed. Yoon Hana led a special team now. They had developed new medicines that only worked on human bodies. When Korath prisoners were captured, human doctors would heal their wounds with these special treatments. "Why?" a Korath captain asked as a human doctor wrapped his broken arm. "Why save me?" The doctor looked at him. "Because we are not you. Because we choose who we want to be. Today, we choose to save your life." She finished the bandage. "Tomorrow, we might choose something else. That is for your leaders to decide." The captain was released. He returned to his people and told them what happened. The story spread. Korath soldiers began to wonder, why were they fighting an enemy that showed them mercy? Why were their own leaders letting them starve while humans healed their wounds? Trust in the High Arbiter began to crack. Muriel was called to speak before the Galactic Collective. The Great Hall was full of representatives from 100 worlds. They wanted to understand what was happening. She walked to the center of the room. In her hands, she held old books, human books, history books. "You want to know what humans are," she said. "I will tell you. I will read from their own history." She opened a book. "In the year they call 1914, humans began a war against each other. By the time it ended, 20 million of them were dead. Not from disease, not from natural disaster. From war." The room was silent. 20 years later, they started another war. This time, 70 million died. They built weapons that could destroy entire cities in a single flash of light. They built camps where they killed millions of their own species, simply because they were different. She closed the book. "This is what humans did to each other, to their own kind. When they came to the stars, they chose to be different. They chose to smile. They chose to be friends." Her voice dropped. "The Korath took that choice away from them. The Korath reminded them what they used to be." She looked around the room. Every eye was on her. "What you are seeing now is not humanity's full strength. They are holding back. They are being careful. They are making sure they only hurt those who deserve it. She paused. What happens if they ever decide to stop holding back? What happens if they ever look at all of us the way they look at the Korath? No one answered. No one could. The Korath made a mistake, Miriel said. They saw humans smile and thought they were weak. They did not understand that the smile was a gift, a choice. They did not understand what lived behind those kind eyes. She gathered her books. Now we all know, and we must all hope they choose to smile again, because if they do not, nothing in this galaxy can stop them. She walked out of the hall. Behind her, 100 species sat in silence, thinking about the smiling predators who lived among the stars. 5 years after the massacre, the Korath Dominion no longer existed, not as a government, not as a military power, not as anything. Their great fleets were gone. Their proud leaders were prisoners. Their economy had collapsed completely, but their homeworld still stood. Their cities were still there. Their people still lived. The galaxy had expected destruction. They had expected humanity to burn the Korath worlds to ash. Instead, humans had done something strange. They had dismantled everything without destroying the people. The military was gone, but civilians were safe. The government was finished, but homes still had power and water. They could have killed us all, a young Korath said to his mother. Why did they not kill us all? His mother did not have an answer. High Arbiter Velthos was captured alive. His own officers gave him to the humans when it became clear that fighting was pointless. He was brought to a great hall, but not a human hall. It was the Galactic Collective's court, with judges from many species. Admiral Baktaiho was asked why humans did not judge Velthos themselves. Because we are not interested in revenge, he said. We are interested in justice, and justice must come from more than just the wounded party. Let the galaxy decide what happens to him. We have done our part. The trial lasted many weeks. Velthos defended nothing. He had no defense. The evidence was clear. He had ordered an attack on civilians during a peace celebration. He had murdered children. He had laughed about it. Shin Nari was called to speak. She had not spoken publicly about the massacre since it happened. 5 years of silence. 5 years of fighting. Now she stood before the galaxy and told them about her squadron, her friends, how they died one by one while she could do nothing. Halfway through, her voice broke. Tears ran down her face. For the first time since the massacre, she let herself feel the pain she had locked away. The galaxy watched a warrior cry. They saw that humans had not become machines. They had simply hidden their hearts to do what needed to be done. The feelings were still there. The grief, the love, the loss. After her testimony, 100 species understood something important. Humans had not enjoyed any of this. They had simply refused to let evil go unanswered. Velthos was found guilty. He would spend the rest of his life in a prison thinking about what he had done. Some thought this was too gentle, but the humans were satisfied. They did not need him to suffer. They needed him to be remembered. A warning for anyone who thought about harming Earth's children again. Yoon Hana traveled to the Korath homeworld. She went with a medical team, bringing food and medicine. Some people thought she was crazy. The Korath had killed her brother. She set up a small clinic in a poor area. Korath children came with hungry stomachs and sick bodies. She treated them all. She smiled at them. She told them stories about the stars. A Korath mother watched Hana treat her son. Finally, she could not stay silent. Why? She asked. Your people spent 5 years destroying us. Now you come with medicine. I do not understand. Hana looked at her. The Korath mother saw something in her eyes. Old pain. Fresh kindness. My brother was killed in the massacre, Hana said. He was a doctor. He spent his last moments trying to save children. He did not care what species they were. She continued working on the young Korath's wound. He would not want me to let children suffer because of what your leaders did. Someone has to choose to break the cycle. I am strong enough to make that choice." The mother was silent for a long time. Then, slowly, she bowed her head. It was a Korath sign of deep respect. Kang Duri stood before the Galactic Collective one last time. The hall was full. Every species had sent representatives. They wanted to hear what humanity would say now that it was over. He walked to the center of the room. He was older now. There were lines on his face that had not been there 5 years ago, but his back was straight and his voice was clear. 50 years ago, we came to the stars with smiles on our faces. We believed the universe was full of friends waiting to be met. We were wrong." He paused. "But we were not wrong to hope. The Korath taught us a painful lesson. They taught us that kindness alone is not enough. That trust must be earned. That some will always see gentleness as weakness." His voice grew stronger. "So we showed them what we could become when we stopped being gentle. We showed everyone." He looked around the hall. Species who had watched humanity be massacred and done nothing. Species who had traded with the Korath after the attack. Species who had been afraid to help. "We are not angry at you," he said. "You did what you thought you had to do. We understand fear. We understand the desire to survive." A small smile, the first in years, touched his lips. "But understand this. We will smile again. Not because we have forgotten what you saw us become. Not because we are weak. We smile because we choose to. Because even after everything, we still believe that friendship is worth trying for." His smile faded slightly, and his eyes grew serious. "But do not mistake our kindness for weakness. We proved what happens when we stop smiling. We remember everything we learned about ourselves. That knowledge is always with us now, sleeping behind our eyes." He spread his hands. "We are giving you the gift of our friendship again. We hope you accept it. We hope you never give us a reason to take it back." He walked out of the hall. The galaxy watched him go in silence. Years passed. Humanity returned to the stars. They built new stations. They made new treaties. They laughed and traded and taught and learned, just as they had before. But things were different now. When humans smiled, other species smiled back carefully, politely, respectfully. Behind every friendly human face they now knew was something old and patient, something that remembered how to hunt. Solvan wrote his final report on humanity. "They are kind again," he wrote. "They help the sick and feed the hungry. They teach their children to share and to be gentle. They are the best friends anyone could ask for. But when I look into their eyes, I see something that was not there before. Knowledge, memory, a promise that if anyone ever hurts their children again, they will remember what they are. And the galaxy will learn why humans used to call themselves the apex predators." On the Korath homeworld, Mirael had opened a school. She taught young Korath about other species, about history, about what happens when civilizations choose cruelty over kindness. One day, a small child asked her a question. "What are humans?" Mirael thought for a long moment. She thought about the smiling diplomats she had met long ago. She thought about the silent warriors who had destroyed an empire. She thought about Yunhana, healing children who should have been her enemies. "They are the kindest apex predators in the galaxy," she finally said. The child looked confused. "What does that mean?" Mirael smiled sadly. "It means they choose to be kind. Every day they wake up and choose gentleness over strength, mercy over vengeance, friendship over fear." She put a gentle hand on the child's head. "It also means that if anyone is foolish enough to make them choose differently, nothing in the universe can protect you from what they become." She looked out the window at the sky. Somewhere up there, humans were building, teaching, laughing, choosing every day to smile. "Pray they always choose to be kind," she whispered, "for all our sakes." The stars twinkled, the universe continued, and humanity smiled at the darkness, as they always had. But now the darkness smiled back very, very carefully.